Subscription models. Everyone hates them, but also everyone uses them. Otherwise, it will not be a successful business model. And in the music production tools and plugins world, we have many subscription models. Some of them are really good, some of them are really bad. And today I wanted to share you my 3 tips on how to be sure that a subscription is going to be good for you. So, without further ado, let's go! If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel and give the video a like, and also check out my Patreon. You can get free preset for different plugins, free sample packs, and early access to my videos. Okay, as I said, today we have a lot of different subscription models in the world of music production, and this begs the question, how do I know if this subscription is good for me? And that's an important question, especially because on today's standards, the marketing of any developer and plugin company is really strong. So they are going to try to convince you that their products are the best. So this video is like saying, take your time before you decide to pay for a subscription. So here are my 3 things to take into consideration so you know if a subscription model is going to be good for you, and so you don't fall in a commitment trap that you may not be able to get off quickly. So let's go to number 1. First of all, you have to ask yourself if the value is good. That is, if the products that they are offering you are good for you. But this is tricky because, take an example, Spark from Universal Audio gives you access to amazing tools that are regarded as the best analog emulations of different compressors and EQs and so on, but that doesn't mean that they are going to fit your workflow, and who knows, maybe you don't want to use them. I am personally not interested on Spark because I feel that I have already the tools that I want, even for analog emulations. So I'm not interested in this, despite the fact that this is a really well-respected developer. The same goes with, for example, Eventide or MicDSP. They have subscription models, but I'm not interested because I'm not using their plugins, despite have tested them. So the first advice is to ask yourself if the plugins that are offering you are not only good quality, but are also plugins that you are actually going to use. And the only way to know that is, well, to test them, and most of the subscription models have a trial period. After you test them, you ask yourself, well, which of these plugins do I really like and I'm going to be using on the long run? So the first example of a subscription that I use is Slate Digital. They have really good plugins, and I may not use all of their plugins, but I use a considerable amount, so I'm willing to keep paying for them. Even the first time I renew my subscription, I asked myself this same question, and I said something like, well, if I'm using at least 5 of their plugins, that means that it's worth to keep paying. For you can be different, but the thing is that you test it. From Slate Digital, I like the FG Stress. I like both the reverbs that they have. One is my go-to reverb for mixing. I also like the Tape Machine, and Anna 2 is a pretty good synth, despite that I haven't used it in a long time. So that's the basic idea of this first tip. Test the plugins, even if you know that they are good. The important thing is that they have to be good for you, that you are going to be using them. And that's how I define value for a subscription model, because of course, if you are not using their plugins, why are you paying for them? Let's go to tip number 2. We spoke about value, now let's speak of added value. More specifically, what does a subscription model offers you besides the plugins that you're going to have access to? And a great example for this is how Plugin Alliance, another subscription model that I'm using, currently gives you the chance to have from 3 to 10 free plugins of their catalog. And that's pretty amazing because almost every plugin of them is really good. Now, honestly, if it wasn't for this, I'm not sure that I will be subscribing to them because they have a lot of plugins, but I think I use like 20% of them or less. But still, there are high quality plugins, so test them out. You can test each plugin by a period of 2 weeks. Why is this important that they give you back something? Because that way, if you don't want to keep paying for the subscription after a year, you can make sure that at least 3 of your favorite plugins are going to be still usable by you. And to tell you the truth, I don't know if I will continue on Plugin Alliance when my yearly subscription ends. Maybe yes, maybe not, I haven't decided yet, but I currently have all of their plugins that I know I want to keep and I'm not going to lose the access to them. The same goes with, well, the third subscription model that I'm using, which is Kilohertz. And actually, I'm just paying Kilohertz to use Faceplant because you can have access to all the effects by subscribing to Slate Digital. But the thing is that Faceplant, after a year of paying monthly, they give you a $99 voucher, which is around the same that you have spent on a year, and Faceplant as a synth sometimes in some sales costs $99, so it's almost like you are slowly paying monthly for that synth if that's your case. And if you don't, you can be subscribed to Kilohertz and start buying the things that you want and then stop the subscription whatever you want. And it's also a really good and high quality plugin collection that I'm using on daily basis. So that's the tip number 2, what this subscription is offering you back. I know that Slate Digital doesn't have this model, but it's not that for me the subscription model has to have all the checks on my list. I can make some compromises depending on how much I use the plugins, for example. But let's go to number 3, and this is something really important to me, which is community and support. That's right, the human side of a subscription model. Let's start with support. This is really important, and I think it's more important for a subscription model rather than something that you buy and then you own it. Because a subscription model, you pay monthly and you are expecting that the thing that you're paying for will work all the time. Otherwise, you are losing time that you're not going to recover. That's why many people hate something like Avid, which now is completely subscription based, so you can use Pro Tools. But many people have said that Avid support is really bad. On the other hand, Slate Digital, Kilohertz, and Plugin Alliance have amazing support, at least on my experience and the experience of different people that I have known. Having bad experience on customer support on these brands is not really common. So this is something that I take into consideration, how good is going to be support, because that's also part of the subscription. And the other human part is the community. Slate Digital, Kilohertz, and Plugin Alliance have amazing presence on different social media, and I'm part of some Facebook groups where even the developers and the CEOs of those companies sometimes post things. It's common that someone, if they have an issue on Plugin Alliance, the one and only Dirk Ulrich, or Ulrich, I'm not sure, will comment on a post saying that he will pressure support if they are not answering on whatnot, which is kinda nice. Of course, they are also there so they can have a good image as a developer, and that's also good. Having a subscription model is difficult, and you have to make the customer feel they are paying something that's worth it, and that goes even beyond the quality of the product. That's why those are my 3 tips that you have to take into consideration. You can check only 2 if you want, like I do with Slate Digital, because they don't give you something that you can own on the future, but still they offer you some masterclasses and whatnot. So it's still good, especially for beginners. But for me, the important thing is that you have good support and community. They are open about their plans. They are open about what you are going to get on the future. And the most important thing, on my opinion, is that it doesn't matter if the plugins are the best plugins in the world. They are plugins that you are actually going to use. So that's my opinion, and I now want to read your opinion, so leave a comment and tell me which subscription models are you using on the music production world, what are your opinions on it, and I will answer every comment on this video, of course. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel and give it a like, and also consider subscribing to my Patreon. I have a lot of benefits, go check it out, link is in the description of this video. Take care, and I will see you next time, bye bye!